Hello, Sonic movie fans, and welcome to episode 104 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here to man super is Devin.
Fear is a tool.
It's true.
It's just so true. So true.
It's if you couldn't tell, that was from one of the 40 million DC things that we had to read up about. For the return of the Fandome. The Dome's back. They dropped it on planet Earth again.
I still can't get over that name, because it's all virtual, so it's not like it's in an actual dome,
right?
You know,
but that's I think
I'm
what they would think
it
is
as such, though.
Right, it's all inside the dome. You get a convention, but it's just fandom and dome, Fandome. Well, they get people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to stand in front of a green screen, and then as the camera pans through the dome, he's just constantly facing it no matter the angle. Yeah. I was kind of hoping they would do a little bit better job this year since they had a full year from the last one, to
improve.
Because they had some pacing issues. I barely watched most of it and barely watched most of this one. Just bits and pieces. So I guess
WitcherCon was better.
This was 4+ hours. This whole thing. So why don't we talk about
days though?
Last year, I think last year they did one and said, "Oh wow, this was so successful, and we have a few more things we could talk about. Let's do another one in a couple months." That's what last year's was like. This year, I'm pretty sure it was all in one day, and I was working that day, and I'm like, "Oh, there's a trailer for the Batman. Let me try to watch it in 024p for some reason on my phone."
Yeah, my YouTube app does that shit too. It'll be auto, but it'll be 240p. I'm like, no, I'm literally connected to the Wi-Fi. I know this could be at least 1080p.
And I throw it on there, and it just doesn't change. I'm like,
yeah,
maybe the trailer is doing this for effect.
Could you imagine a movie? They're like, this movie is going to look like it was shot in 480p. This is what it is. It's aesthetic. All right. Someone's going to do that down the line. It's going to be fucking blurry the entire time.
Well, it's going to be the new hidden VHS horror movie craze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's your 2001 digital video camera, which I had. A little tiny digital video camera. Took a giant SD card. So the Fandome happened a couple days ago. It was 4+ hours. A whole bunch of DC stuff. Not Warner Brothers, but specifically DC. And why don't we talk about our thoughts about them just doing this in general? Because it's all marketing, obviously.
Whoa,
great. That's what it's meant to be. Is marketing. Hype people up for marketing. Watch commercials for things. But I also kind of look at it like this. There are people that are really fucking into this shit, and here's a thing that's just all about that. So of course they're going to be excited to see the marketing. They love the things that they want, Yeah. So I get it. It's like a Nintendo Direct, but no one will bitch at me for saying spoilers if an hour beforehand I retweet someone that leaked something. People won't, complain at me.
The Batman is in it.
Exactly. I think it's a pretty cool thing overall, and I like the fact that it's maybe once a year. I actually, we play a lot of video games, and we're used to no one knows this game exists until we say it does. But if the film industry is by the time the producer leaves the meeting room, everyone knows that there's at least going to be a Ben Affleck in one of these Batman movies.
Yeah.
Everyone, bits and pieces come in we'll see casting for characters in movies, and it's oh, that's a surprise. Why did they say that this classic supervillain's in this movie? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's the way the film industry works. And this whole thing was a lot of here are things that are really soon. Here are things that are somewhat far out. Here's stuff we have concept art for. But where else what do you think would be a more appropriate place to show concept art for a Batgirl movie? If Warner Brothers did we're talking about our upcoming movies, as an E3 thing, and here's a picture, a drawing of what Batgirl might look like if we put in $400 million into the budget.
That's basically what Black Adam was last year. Remember,
exactly.
It was a drawn photo of The Rock as Black Adam, and even back then I was like, okay, this movie isn't coming out for maybe never,
and even now it's
several
still
years,
post production, right? I think that's what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's cool, like, that, like, our expectations are, okay, you're going to get 4 hours of all this stuff. They're going to talk about their comic book lines, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. Like, if you're big into DC, that's cool. We kind of come from more of like the, give me an hour of PlayStation games. I want to see gameplay. And like, you know, like we talk about, especially with the Game Awards last year, there was a whole bunch of just CG trailers announcing things. And a lot of those were like brand new, like IP franchise games, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, all right, this does nothing for me. A Mass Effect
like that
re-reveal.
That's Kojima looking game that wasn't a Kojima game.
Right.
Like, I don't give two shits until you actually tell me what this even is.
When
or
it
show
comes
me
to
what
something
this even is.
brand new,
yeah,
especially because there was like, we're a new studio and we're showing off our thing to set the tone. It's like, I have no idea what you've made before, so I have no reason to see a pedigree or what I'm excited about, etc.
How many
Your
times have
thing
we seen
doesn't
a
show anything,
a CG trailer too, and the game is just fucking garbage,
or it just comes and goes. You know what I mean? But then it's a little bit different when you get like the Mass Effect 4 or 5, whatever they want to call it, like re-reveal. Like, okay, that was a CG thing that told us nothing, but Mass Effect is back. That's different than like, here's something, it goes away, right?
I think the equivalent to that in like movie form is like a poster. Like they could have when we remember when they first announced this new Batman, I think it was just a picture, right, of like the all red or whatever, and it just.
Well, I mean, this movie, that movie in particular, went in like different forms because at one point it was a Ben Affleck written and directed film, and the villain was going to be Deathstroke. They had like a tiny little teaser video of a very plastic outfit looking Deathstroke walk towards the camera that Ben Affleck was all excited about. Maybe that movie's still a thing. I have no fucking idea. So this is obviously not that. But yeah, like sometimes we'll be like, yep, here's we're announcing Aquaman 2. It has a title. Maybe you can infer something about it because of the name. That's it.
Like Spider-Man. Remember, it was just like, they just said the title, Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's like, but like you said, it already has a pedigree, so we know.
Right, and it's a sequel to something.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to video games too, like we like to see gameplay in the trailers, especially again if we have no idea what it is. You got to convince us. But when it comes to movies and like everyone just knows that all these people are in it and there's this and that and like there's already set photos and stuff. I mean like the HBO, I'm pointing behind me as if it's happening outside, but HBO's Last of Us is filming right now, and so people are like, I saw a Twitter post
retweeting it with the Twitter account.
Okay.
Yeah, so follow it once again. Follow SMS Twitter. Follow SMS
exactly.
Twitter.
Sonic Movie Show @ Sonic Movie Show. You know, like so people can just see. Okay, well, Pedro Pascal's holding a machine gun, walking with whoever's playing Ellie. I forget what her name is. You know, in my town, that type of stuff. But like games are different. But at the same time, I want to be convinced that I should give a shit about these video games.
It's just a different medium.
We're used to a different thing entirely than what this is, where this is like, y'all love DC, y'all got your Wonder Woman tattoo, you even know who Green Lantern's name is, this is for you. You know?
I don't.
There's a bunch, but like, I don't know.
Who the fuck's a Green Lantern, you know?
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds. That's his
Ryan Reynolds, that's right.
Remember that movie?
No. I remember now, but no.
Yeah.
But no,
I
think it's cool. I mean, I'm not really into DC that much. If I had to pick between the comic books that I prefer, Marvel. I grew up mostly reading Marvel comics. But like at the end of the day, I'm not like a diehard where I'm going to be like, nope, bro, Spider-Man's better than fucking Superman. Fuck you. You know, like no, I don't give a shit. You like what you like. It's cool. People who are really into it, I'm sure they had a blast. I hope. Or else that sucks because I feel like that's their main target audience. Besides the couple Batman trailers that we saw that like for maybe the casual comic book fan, which I would identify as, where I maybe twice a year I go to a comic book store, I get something, I read it, I'm like, this is cool. This is like
by the time you see the by the time you see the 9th DC television show you didn't realize has 5 seasons, you're like, oh.
Yeah, like The Flash or whatever. I'm like, they still make this. But
for
yeah,
me, it was DC's Legends of Tomorrow's on its 7th season. I'm like, excuse me?
I just
When?
now saw Doom Patrol. Like
That's on like 4.
yeah, it's like
Or
it was like
something.
season 3. Yeah, and I'm like, it looks cool. I'm like, I have HBO Max, and I feel like it's never advertised. I'm like, I might actually watch this now. I don't know. So I guess it works for that though. For people who are like, hey, you didn't hear the show? It's a season 3. Like
Yeah.
you're already tuning in to see the first look at the Batman movie. Okay, let's throw the Doom Patrol.
Let's
on
be
there.
real. This is why a lot of people tuned in, because they hoped Batman would be first. Batman's like last.
I mean, it makes sense. It's like the heavy hitter. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
And
people
even
are hyped
in,
about it.
We watched, or not watched, we went through DC's like actual like press write-up, like recap of everything. And even for the Batman, it's like, all right, we know why you're here. We just want to thank Matt Reeves and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Enjoy. Like, they just know. Like,
Yeah.
all right, we don't need
to sell on
we
it.
need to write something to like entice people to click on a Harley Quinn season 3. Like, here's just Batman. But
Yeah.
why don't we go through in order and just mention everything that happened. We'll talk about the things that we think are cool. So let's start with Black Adam, which I thought was Atom. I didn't realize it was like Adam the name. So I guess I don't really know who Black Adam is.
Yeah.
I also thought he was like a Shazam bad guy.
He
maybe
looks like
he
a
is?
Shazam bad guy. Literally has a lightning bolt on
Right.
his chest. Maybe if you're a big DC fan, you're listening to this, please let us feel free to let us know in the comments or
Yeah.
however on Twitter or something. Like, is he supposed to be the bad, or not? Maybe
He
bad,
definitely
but
looks
like
like
the
it's an anti-hero movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dwayne The Rock Johnson says that this has been a personal passion project for him for years, and I remember it was like rumored
It's
or
his
talked
bloodshot.
about that like he's wanted to, honestly, in a way, yeah, like he's wanted to forever to do this. He says it contains some of the biggest action scenes he's ever done or ever been a part of. I think he actually says like the biggest.
Bro has been in like every action movie in the last 10 years, so like I find that a little hard to believe. Like he's trying to sell the product,
Right.
but we'll see. If you
What
say
if he,
so,
like, I mean, they're in post-production. Maybe they need to refilm some scenes. What if one of the scenes, he literally blows up a city? Like, Chicago's just gone. IRL. I don't know, like, fuck. It's like, biggest action scene.
they blew up. They literally committed a terrorist attack on
Exactly.
American soil. I don't think Biden would be okay with that. Maybe not. I don't know. But no,
Well, he's asleep right
it's
now,
funny
he
is when
doesn't
he was they like first show him in the trailer. I just thought of his freaking rap video that he dropped like 2 weeks prior to this, where
Oh my
he's
God.
standing in a room and he's like, I don't remember what he says, but it's just something to that effect. It was whatever, but it was just that's where my brain was going the entire time. I'm like, did you film this in the same room? Did you guys
Might
film?
have been.
Like while
I
I'm
mean, who
here,
knows?
let's film my rap video. I mean, that was part of the contract. He's like, okay, I won't charge you for hyping up Black Adam because it's a personal project, but you're gonna need to film this
I
music video.
I needed some set space for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, play it, and he has like on his like Android phone that he just has like the direct download of it, MP3 of it. It's not on Spotify yet.
I will say, and it's kind of even what we're kind of joking about, give him just 30 minutes and he gets the thing done. You could probably tell The Rock, hey, you're supposed to be on stage in 5 minutes to talk about this, and he'll have no idea, and he'll go on and just crush it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because it almost kind of looks
Yeah.
like he was vamping a little bit at the beginning. Be like, what, talking about the
I'm
calluses
actually
on his hands
very
or whatever.
scared of The Rock running for president, like legitimately, of what a possible, because he's such a good speaker that he could probably just kill a speech. He could say something I don't agree with. I'll be like, "You're right, The Rock. You know what? You're right. I do have hope again."
Considering how the media works, like even when they don't agree, they'll just find a way to be like, we support the president.
Yeah.
I don't agree, but it was very well spoken.
It's true. That's what I'm saying. Like just every time I see him, I'm just like, this guy's gonna run for president one day, and he's gonna
Probably.
at least give a good shot at like in the primaries or whatever it is, and just because of his public speaking. And like what you said, he doesn't have to write a fucking speech. He can just go up there and be like, you know, he did wrestling for how long? He ad-libbed like half that shit, I'm sure.
Right. I do think Black Adam looked kind of cool. You know, it's just basically the intro of that he's a scary man. And that's about it. But like,
Yeah. Was his whole like character arc supposed to be like he was during the time?
I think from like
of
last year, the
colonialism?
thing it was saying no, even earlier. like
Or like
Athens
Egypt.
type of stuff. Egypt, Athens, something like that. And he was
Okay.
like the king. And I guess now he's here. I don't know.
Gotcha. This is
What if
coming
it's
out
actually
in,
just like the Sonic movie? What if it's the exact plot? Because we all think that it's like fish out of water. You know, it's him. He's trying to get to San Francisco.
Yeah, the beginning there, he kills people, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I should probably check this shit out." He's going to like Starbucks and shit. But yeah, this movie comes out in July 29, 2022. I'm surprised by that because, like I said, last year when they were just showing the concept art, I'm like, this movie isn't coming out until at earliest 2025.
What if, I mean, I don't know, when did they start filming? Was it like shortly after that? Because then you think, all right, I don't know.
Then you would still would show like him
kinda,
like wearing the suit or something.
Think about
you know
this.
What I mean?
Think about this. Spider-Man Far From Home was like also like June or July of 2019, right?
Yeah.
And they were like arguing over a third movie if there was one for months. Then they started now 2 years later as a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, these types of films, I think they can just knock out like crazy if they just have people that know what they're
people
doing.
to exploit. Yeah.
I mean, probably. Speaking about exploiting, let's exploit a Lost Kingdom in Aquaman. In the Lost Kingdom, they showed some concept art next year, December 16th.
They did do the behind-the-scenes video there of Jason Momoa just driving his Jeep or whatever. I'm like, that guy's cool. He seems like a chill guy. So I'll give a shout out to him. Still haven't seen the first Aquaman.
It's bad. It's like...
It's like
But,
you telling me that just makes me really... Like, it's going to be like... It's Wednesday night, like tonight or something. I'm surfing through HBO Max. Like, what am I in the mood for? It's got to be like, I am not in the mood for anything. And then I see it has to pop up within like the first 10 movies that I probably see. And I'll be like, you know, I haven't seen this. I'm kind of feeling like a movie that I could just watch and not have to think.
Yeah, it's like, again, it's like, show me a trailer, and then you gotta prove it to me, because like, I didn't really care about the last one. It was a very big, you know what it reminds me of? We get to the end, there's like a big underwater war. It reminds me of Phantom Menace CG droid armies fighting, and just a green, you know what I mean? It's all just,
Gungans. Yeah.
but then like, just picture that underwater, and it's like seahorses and water creatures.
It's what it looked like from the
Aquaman.
trailer, and I'm like, okay.
Like, there are some funny parts in it, and Jason Momoa was great as being
Have him fight like
whoever.
all the oil companies that are just constantly dumping garbage and shit into the ocean. Have him fight that. I find that interesting.
The DC's trend right now is DC or Superboy, who is actually Superman's son in that comic line. He's the new Superman. He's just out there protesting with everyone. Man literally has cold breath.
I saw.
He can fly through a nuclear, or not nuclear. He can fly through an oil rig and just blow it up.
I saw a tweet that someone's like, if I saw fucking Superman at this protest, I'd be pissed. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because I'd be like, he could literally stop this within the same day. He literally can just.
He can choose violence, and no one can retaliate besides like being terrorists and like killing people and be like, stop or we blow up a town.
Yeah, he
You know
literally
what
could
I
just
mean?
go around and just blow up all the oil stuff. Yeah, it'd suck for the economy,
In a
but
day.
like it'd be for the best.
He could do that in a day, in an afternoon. If he knew where all
He
of the
could wake
oil
up
rigs
that
were.
morning, eat his toast, take his time reading the newspaper, and he's like, you know what? Fuck this.
They're
shit.
all blown.
They're all
flew
gone.
around the world. Exactly.
He comes back, it's still lunchtime.
Exactly. Billy and Mandy's on Cartoon Network now. He didn't miss it. Yeah, it would be a good. I mean, actually, wasn't that part of you didn't see Aquaman 1? That was part of it, where like they were going to go to war and destroy us on land because we keep fucking polluting the water. And Aquaman just stops them.
I mean, yeah, I don't want war either. You know, like I don't want to be a fascist either, even if it's for a environmental cause. But like, you could probably still blow up. Tell the people on the plant, be like, or on the drill site or whatever in the ocean, be like, y'all need to get on your boats and dip because we're about to blow this shit up.
You know, I am remembering that movie did have like a kind of cool like character arc for Aquaman where he was like an asshole willing to kill people for good, but like he was, because like it opens up with like a raid on a submarine that's bad guy terrorist submarine, and he like basically in a humorous, almost Marvel kind of snickery type of way kills a guy, but he's not actually dead, he's dying out, and that's the bad guy's father, and that's like the revenge story the bad guy's having on Aquaman or whatever. But it's like played up for like laughs at the beginning, and it's like, oh, he's realizing, hey, I gotta take myself seriously. I can't be like MCU characters, I guess. I don't know. But remember, this is still in the universe where Superman destroys a city just by flying through it, fighting the bad guys, doesn't try to stop anyone. So, you know, he's better than us, so it doesn't matter. Next up, I guess I didn't know that they brought Static Shock back. I used to watch that cartoon as a kid. And I guess I assumed since it was DC that there was a comic book line, but I guess they brought that Milestone Media, that like kind of branch back, and all those like characters back, and they're making a bunch of animated films based off of it, which is cool. I probably won't watch any of them. DC makes a lot of animated movies, like direct to video, direct to streaming movies, and most of them are pretty damn good, or at least interesting. A lot of Batman ones, so like maybe the Static Shock one would be cool. I used to watch it as a kid. He flied around on a manhole cover.
Yeah, I probably don't care about it too much, to be honest. But at least what I think is cool, at least what they said in the press release here, is this is the first project with their program called Next Generation DC, where they help, or they work with the next generation of comic book artists. I'm like, that's cool.
Where they will not pay them in the future when they become movies.
Every positive thing, we're like, but it probably won't be.
Now, I guess to be fair, regardless of how bad they may be, they are apparently better than Disney and Marvel. Because I don't remember who it was, but I saw on Twitter a comic book I guess writer, because he had created comic book characters, said he got more money from a single Warner Brothers film than Disney has given him, and combined for all of the things that it was the guy that made Rocket Raccoon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
He's like, he has a GoFundMe for his medical bills.
Jesus fucking
You know what I mean? Like
Superman, what the fuck, bro? Do something.
Exactly.
Just sit on your fucking
Also,
island.
be fair, this is the same company that refused to credit the co-creator of Batman. It was just a Batman created by Bob Kane. It's like, there were two people there for years. The man died. He's dead. He's been long dead. And they decided, I guess it's also by so-and-so. I don't even remember his name. That's what they've done to it.
I guess. All right, you win. You win.
Next up is a video game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm still not entirely positive if this is an online Destiny thing, like I think they said last year, or if it's not anymore, or what. I think it looks all right. I think it is not as obnoxious of a trailer. By Rocksteady. I'm also not sure if this is supposed to be in their Arkham game series. I think it's supposed to be in the same universe, but then the other Batman game isn't. That's a different thing. But I think this is still like a sequel to all the Batman Arkham games, which the only thing I might say about that is like they don't show Batman at all. And I think that kind of interesting. People have sleuth, like people watching this trailer and last year's like, oh, Brainiac, the Superman villain, has like gotten control over them. You can see like the purple, his signature color like through their veins. People pausing this trailer at certain scenes see Wonder Woman fighting monsters, and she doesn't have it on, so she's probably like free, or who knows. But like I watched that and I'm like, there's a lot of scenes where like the Flash could literally just rip these people in half. Why isn't he doing that? Like these people don't have powers. I understand that's like the David and Goliath, like how are they gonna kill Superman? You know what I mean? But like I don't know. I'm a little bit of like the CinemaSins inside each and every one of our hearts, the darkness in there that wants to pick things apart over inconsequential shit.
I remember last year we like ranked or like gave a hype value to each thing, and I don't remember if I liked this.
I thought it was obnoxious,
or I didn't.
I thought it was trying to be so funny.
So I'm probably contradicting myself. Maybe I don't know, but I think it's all right. Like I probably won't play it, to be honest with you.
If it's an online multiplayer thing, nah. If it's Destiny, no. If it's Marvel's Avengers by Crystal Dynamics, nah. But if it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy,
I need to see
thing,
gameplay. This is
where it's
another,
just
once again,
single player.
another cinematic trailer.
Yeah, they still haven't shown gameplay.
Yeah.
They didn't show it last year. They didn't show it this year. It's supposed to be next year.
So I'll wait for gameplay, and I probably still won't play it because I just don't have time.
Probably not. There's other games to play.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like
the other Batman game looks far more interesting than this one, and they showed gameplay of that last year.
Yeah.
Next up is Peacemaker, which is the HBO Max, I guess now sequel, I didn't realize this, to The Suicide Squad, which I haven't seen yet. It fucking left HBO Max before I resubscribed. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta resub to watch that before it goes. Fucking missed it. So I guess I'll wait till it comes back.
We saw it in theaters, and I'm kind of glad I did, because it just was a good, like, popcorn movie. Like, it just gave me, like, I just came out of being like, that was fun, and I enjoyed the ride. I would recommend seeing the movie. Peacemaker, the character, John Cena, does a great job of being just a fucking asshole in that movie, but like a lovable asshole. Like, you just wind up being like, this guy is funny. You like wind up cheering for him a little bit. I don't want to spoil too much. I know
he lives.
Well, the trailer doesn't really show anything from the movie, luckily, because I think there's some good moments in that movie that his character does. But definitely, it looks like it's just gonna be more of that, and I'm like, cool. And I feel like
it doesn't look bad. It looks like it's trying to be serious to a degree.
I think James Gunn saw something maybe like while they were filming the original one. The Suicide Squad, he must have saw me like, I want to do more with this character. I want to work with John Cena more. But John Cena's great, and if The Rock didn't exist, like, I really think John Cena would be like the best post wrestling actor. He's definitely does a good job, in my opinion.
Was he better than F9 John Cena?
100%.
Okay, well, that's an endorsement then.
Yeah, you'll like his character, I would think, more. And
I thought the trailer looked pretty neat.
Yeah.
Next up is some Superman stuff. I guess they brought back Superman and Lois, that show. There was Smallville is getting a Blu-ray set. There's a new cartoon called My Adventures of Superman. That's like I think it's a Cartoon Network show. I think it's like actually a Cartoon Network show. They didn't have a trailer for that. They just showed character art. It's supposed to be like a Lois Lane centered Superman cartoon, I think.
Yeah, it looks. I like from the picture here. It looks cute, I guess, but not something I'm personally interested in. But
like, I think from what I read, she doesn't know he's Superman. He's actually. I think it's kind of cool that he's still wearing basically a 1940s still inspired news hound outfit that he wore. You know, he kind of looks like a classic Clark Kent, even though everything else is kind of modern around him. And they also showed off. Jim Lee, I guess, showed off the new motto for Superman.
You missed Stargirl.
Oh yeah, there's whatever. That's another one of those fucking DC shows that's like, it's been going on for 13 seasons. You're like, what?
Since 2006. You've seen, we literally have used every villain, and we don't know what we're doing next, but you keep somehow making money. I don't know.
Yeah, somehow, right? Our budgets are that low enough that it makes a profit, and our fans are okay with it, which I guess is okay in the end.
Yeah, I've seen some like the clips from like the Flash TV show and whatnot, and I'm like, ooh, boy.
Huh. Those are shows are for the people that watch everything. That's it. You watch everything.
After Big Bang Theory, you watch The Flash.
I don't mean that, but I mean like, you know what I mean? They'll watch every movie thing like that. They're that much. They'll watch the CW verse. Remember that?
Dude, I remember people were talking about Arrow when I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's still going on?
I don't think so. But I think it became part of all these other ones.
Gotcha.
Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow is a new Superman slogan, accompanied with the new Jim Lee art. Jim Lee also wore... He was in one of the later clips, I think, for Gotham Knights. Like the black T-shirt that has the different like waves, and they're like kind of like it's like ridges.
That every like kid in middle school wrote if they listened to like Panic at the Disco. Yeah,
yeah. We had a friend that had that shirt, in high school. Jim Lee had a version of that, but it's the bat symbol. I'm like, that is just slightly better than, you know, people would making fun of you for wearing that shirt. I didn't realize
a DC shirt, just like from Five Below or Hot Topic.
I didn't realize Jim Lee is like an executive at DC. I thought he was just like one of the few classic comic book artists left at DC. Instead, maybe that's why he's like an executive, because he stuck around. Yeah, I wish like fucking Superman of all things actually had something noteworthy here at the Fandome, other than just like, here, character art for a new cartoon and a behind the scenes look at like a house we use in a sitcom,
or even like a cartoon. If you're into a cartoon, like, oh, the voice is done by Henry Cavill or something like that, where like
anything. Yeah.
You know, oh, he's the Superman. You know, maybe it's tied in some way. You know. But
then I remember that like the inside memos at Warner Brothers of like, they don't know how to make a Superman movie because people didn't like I hate everyone. Being Superman, such a bird and gloomy shit that was the Zack Snyder Superman. You know what I mean? Where his dad literally says, "Don't help people." And his mom says, Batman v Superman, you don't owe them anything. You don't need to do any of that. And actually means it, like, just stop. You know what I mean?
Disagree, but if you have power,
exactly.
Maybe for the greater good, maybe use it. But
yeah, exactly. And that's like Superman's ideology too, which is, we'll talk about Zack Snyder shit someday. Someday. I never even watched his Justice League, but it's on Blu-ray now.
Yeah, so. I need to watch that at some point. But it's just such a long film that I'm like, I need to like make time.
And I'd rather do other stuff on my day.
Yeah, there's so many other things to do.
But speaking about impending, Doom Patrol gets a new season and a trailer for the current season. Did you catch that? The trailer was for the season that's still airing. They're like, there are only 4 episodes left of this. It's like, cool.
Season 3
we also
skipped scheduled for Thursday, November 11th.
I skipped earlier. The Flash is on like season 42, and he's got new shoes. That's all I wrote down. He's got gold.
Literally,
shoes now.
He's the Sonic of like this shit. Where he's like, he got new shoes though.
Yeah, he can't grind rails.
Have you ever seen that photo of like he obviously did, like it was taken on like a regular camera, right? It wasn't taken with like nice,
lighting and shit.
Yeah, have you seen that picture of like all the like the Justice League in that show of them coming out of like rubble or something, and like everyone just looks so awkward. Have you ever seen that photo?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I feel so bad.
Yeah, but like,
I don't know why. I just feel bad for I don't know who. But just like,
you just think in the back of your mind that like they thought that they were really fucking cool, and they're just trying to convince yourself that like they're on the same level as like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans coming out of rubble. You know what I mean? That you're like, it's like the cringe by association. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like empathetic cringe. But like it's not deserved because they're making money and they're having fun. It's just you that feels like shit.
I remember, like, I think it was the part that really got me was like the way the Flash looked. Like he just was very like not wide or like red. I don't know, just red. It just didn't work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry for anyone who likes it, but just like I remember
years and years ago, people at work talking about that show, and I'm like, I will never watch it, but I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I remember because like recently I was going through my photos on my iPhone, just trying to like delete a bunch of garbage on there, and like the photo of that popped up, and I'm like, I remember saving it and just ended up like, oh, I like sat there for like a good 30 seconds just staring,
reminiscing.
Like, oh.
But Doom Patrol is
I actually am intrigued by it, but
here's my thing about Doom Patrol and DC. Having not watched any of these shows, these live action ones, never realized how many seasons each of these have. Number 2, because like it feels like they're talked about in press hype, and then they air, and then I just never hear about them again. You know what I mean? So I just assume they go away. Like some of the Batwoman stuff that we'll talk about a little bit later. But like this one, they all look the same, like trying to be serious, but they're a little bit Guardians of the Galaxy comic weirdness, a little bit. but it's got like a $20K budget for the whole season. You know what I mean? It's got like a little bit of all that stuff where it's like, and so many of them feel the same. But this one, I don't know, there's a dude with a helmet that can't move his lips and he talks anyway. Brendan Fraser from The Mummy's in it. So
no, yeah, I was gonna say, because it looks like it's loosely based off of what Universal always wanted to do, which is have the dark universe with Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
They had a set photo.
Yeah.
Are any of those people in any of the movies?
Only Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is the only one like out of all of that.
Well, I think whoever played the Mummy she was probably in there too, right?
Yeah, I just remember Johnny Depp's in it.
Right. He got paid for that photo shoot.
$500K right there. But no, yeah.
Jesus.
For real though, I don't know. I might give this show a shot. I might like watch a couple episodes of the first season, see how I'm feeling, and I'll go from there. Because they just have like a kind of like
here's my thing,
classic movie monster vibe to it. Like the
it
colors.
Looks serial. I could just see it right now. On today's episode, we gotta hunt the so and so. We either do or we don't. Next episode, we gotta. It feels a lot like the procedural. Like that's why I never fucking got into what was the Marvel show on ABC? The live
Agents
action
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
one. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I never got into that because it's gonna be like we gotta hunt a Hydra agent, and it's like. I don't know. I just can't with shows like that. I really, really need to be invested. It needs to be something that I was already really into to watch a show like
Lost.
that. But that's different. This is much different. That is a story. Here's my suggestion for you if you're going to watch this. Why don't you hop into season 3 and just watch an episode of that? Because I guarantee those first few episodes of any of these shows are really lame. And it's going to be such a slog to convince yourself to keep watching.
Maybe.
I'm at the point now where someone's like, hey, what's this Avatar The Last Airbender thing? Be like, don't start with episode 1. Watch this one episode. If you don't like this, you know you're good. Don't watch anything else. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like I kind of need to approach some of this stuff.
I mean, I would say the same with like... It's the same with like some video games, right? It's like, oh, play Halo Reach. I mean, the best one. And then you could...
Well, yeah, I mean, a perfect example. New Metroid game came out recently. And, like, if someone's like, oh, should I get in the series? Like, yes, but play the new one. And if you like it, play the ones that are freely, like, available on your Switch or whatever. Like, don't try to be like, I need to go through them all. Like, some things, you know what? Just play the new one. Because if you don't like it, then you know.
Yeah.
Speaking about things that I don't like and I know, the Flash movie got a trailer, or at least what I know I don't like is Ezra Miller's weirdness. I watched this the other day with his intro to it. He's very weird. I don't like it.
You just don't like weird people. You can't appreciate weird people.
I don't.
You want him to be serious, like
don't like Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
I don't like what's his name that was the Joker, and
I think we finally discovered why you don't. I think we're polar opposites. I like all the weird people.
I don't like weird
and
men.
you like Ben Affleck, very like I feel like generally serious person.
Like Ben Affleck.
You like Tom Cruise. And I'm the opposite, where I'm just like, yeah, I love. I can't remember his name. So Morbius, I love him. He's so fucking strange. I love Jeff Goldblum. He's weird.
Well, there's weird. Different levels of Jeff Goldblum that I will tolerate. All right.
You didn't watch his. You would not like his TV show.
I probably would not. No. Yeah. I probably would not.
It was so.
I like Chef Gordon Ramsay's Disney Plus show called Uncharted. I like him though. At one point in the show, we get the fruit from this tree, and we climb up and we grab it. You do it, and he's like, tries to climb and he can't. He's like, oh, I'll probably break it. You do it instead. Like, he's not even committed to the fucking show. I love Chef Gordon Ramsay. Flash got a movie trailer. It's all multiverse breaking stuff. You see a shot of, yes, I didn't want to say his name on purpose. Say it 2 more times and you summon him. Now, Michael Keaton, on the other hand, greatest actor of all time, and his Batman is apparently in this movie.
They showed like a silhouette, and like everyone's like, "Oh,"
but it's clearly it clearly is his cowl.
Watch it,
and I really hope for his sake.
Fuck you, it's not.
What if? Because he infamously was like, I fucking hated that batsuit. I couldn't move. What if like they were like, you got to wear the same shit? Like, yeah, we could get you.
Like, it's all like moldy and shit 'cause it's been sitting in some locker for 30
I think he said something about to Robert Pattinson, not directly, but just like advice I'd give, online when someone asked him is like, I'm like, he said something about he was glad that like there's no chin on Robert Pattinson's batsuit. It's just open because he gets to move his mouth and stuff. He gets to do this.
Yeah, you're right, because it's basically just like putting your head in like a.
Yeah, it was just
like one of those neck
rubber.
Those neck.
Yeah, he couldn't.
When you break your neck, you have to wear like the little support cast thing.
He literally had to turn his torso to move his head, and that's why, like, you look at Robert Pattinson's Batman suit, it just has a really high collar that's bulletproof or whatever. So he like, because he has an exposed neck under there, at least, or I'm sure a shirt or something, right? He can actually move around.
He has an Adidas long sleeve under that.
Exactly. He's got some Under Armour on. It's as expensive as the rest of his
outfit.
What
if in the movie you just see a hint of it, just like the Under Armour logo, like on the side of it, like this whole time. He's
just like
this is sponsored by Under Armour.
You know what I mean? People can tell. It's got like, actually has like the ridges in like the neck collar, like athletic sportswear sometimes has. The Flash movie is just it's a teaser that like, hey, we filmed things, we have proof.
I'm gonna say
we have proof that we filmed
I don't like
something.
the Flash. I never found him cool. I'm gonna stick with my boy Sonic for life.
Absolutely. Him and his Petersonian ideas. You saw that clip, didn't you? Okay. In any case, no, I mean, like, the Flash is one of those things, kind of like Aquaman, where like, you gotta really convince me that he's cool, and the idea of running fast in and of itself is cool, but every time that they've shown it, hit like the idea of the Flash, it's always kind of weird and goofy, or a CW show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it doesn't look. I don't know. I feel like they don't make it look.
Well, you didn't watch Justice League, and he gets introduced. There. That's Ezra Miller's there, and it's a lot of. People can't see at home, but I'm doing like full body arm motions. He's like sprinting through time or whatever. That's his domain. As
imagine you have the power to sprint through time and you like don't stop like slavery.
Well, that was a big thing that I saw MCU Marvel fans getting upset over reviewers talking about the Eternals, where one person said the latest Marvel movie features a diverse cast of superpowered creatures that ignored slavery and the Holocaust, and it's by Disney. And people are getting upset over comments like that, 'cause God forbid you don't like the Eternals. Like, ooh.
I mean, I'll probably still see it and like I'll come to my own conclusion, but like
right, but
I probably that's what's going to be. It's going to be like, wait a minute, because they literally in the trailer they're always like, "You didn't come when Thanos came. Like, why are you coming now?" So maybe they'll explain it, but I don't know.
Here's my thing: the Thanos thing in this fantasy world killed more people than the Holocaust. However, the Holocaust is real. So when someone says, yeah, they ignored the Holocaust, it has a different guttural reaction in audiences than they ignored Thanos. You know what I mean? Like, there are people alive that had loved ones die during that shit. Or like, my grandfather was a slave. People know, they're like, oh, I am watching a Marvel movie where they ignore that shit. They're
like, yeah, we're just pretty late, laissez-faire over here.
Exactly. Honestly, I mean, we'll see when that movie comes out. If there's a damn good reason why they didn't interfere, maybe they're afraid of doing it, I expect to see permanent guilt on all those characters.
And it better
forever.
Not be like, we had to. Like, it's the whole, like, you need oppression so you can get to your peak. It's like, or...
What if they just don't acknowledge this aspect at all in the movie? What if they just don't acknowledge a one-liner?
He's like, I don't know.
Because it's like, yeah, like the earliest superhero, I guess, confirmed so far is Captain America, who fought Hitler. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got a guy that did the thing. You know what I mean? But like yeah, because like Ant-Man and the Wasp has this, like a 70s thing with like, but like, okay, it's still well after the Holocaust. Sure, maybe they like didn't like land in Vietnam or whatever.
I'll say maybe you could have stopped that. Maybe, I don't know.
But like, sure, those are also just a couple of people that can shrink. These are gods in a
Bro,
flying
you could probably
spaceship.
kill a president, though. If you could shrink, you just go inside his body.
And then expand.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that on live television. A man just explode. I mean, I guess everyone did see JFK get his head blown off, but...
Maggie was trying to stop him because he was a mutant. Next up. The pair of Injustice fighting games by NetherRealm Studios, which has a comic book line called Injustice Year One, which I started to read and then stopped. This was back when I read a lot of DC stuff on Comixology, is getting an animated adaptation of it. The voice acting is all over the place, but it's straight up the idea.
I watched the clip. It was kind of cool that, like, they just nuked the city.
Yeah, and that, like, the idea in those games is
actual
that there's
stakes.
There's a divide in the sand. Superman is a bad guy now because you don't see in the thing, but like in the games and the comics, like the idea is like the Joker tricked him into basically killing Lois Lane. I didn't know about the nuke shit because I didn't read very much of the comic. I think I read like a couple panels of it, but I know about the game and all that. So he blames Batman for never killing the Joker, and so he's in his brain now like, no, some people just aren't worth it. Like, I will not save people. I will kill people now. So, like, you know, it's like, that's why it's injustice, because they're fighting injustice. But yeah, no, they nuked it all.
Yeah. Interesting. We did skip over the Sandman, a Netflix series, which is about a character.
Didn't write any notes.
I know the actor from Game of Thrones, but it's Gwendoline Christie's the actor as Lucifer.
That's in
Morningstar.
Lucifer. Yeah.
Is that Satan? What is that? I see bat wings.
I don't know. I didn't see a trailer, so on the thing.
I mean, I like demons, so maybe I'm interested. We'll see when we get closer. If we get a trailer.
Remember that animated show on Disney Channel called Gargoyles?
Yeah, I was a little young to understand what was happening, but it looked cool.
I thought everyone was a gargoyle. There were definitely some people in there. Yep, there's a Blue Beetle movie. All Latinx people in charge. So kind of cool. I don't know much about Blue Beetle. I was reading some DC comic era, and he was murdered. So it was like a, not like it's just a Batman story featuring this. It was like a Justice League like entire thing.
Gotcha.
And he was murdered. And I was like, oh. Next up after that, Gotham Knights.
Made by Monkey Prince.
I did skip over Monkey Prince. He's got some sweet sneaks on. But that's a comic book thing.
I know. So. I just wanted to point it out because there's a pig man too.
Yes, the background. Monkey Prince. I'm sure it's another adaptation of Journey to the West, but this time in the DC universe. Gotham Knights by Warner Brothers Montreal, I think, is the name. They showed gameplay last year, and this trailer was all like story and thematic stuff, and I say this was actually very cool. I thought it was super cool. This is where you get Jim Lee, you get some of the people talking about the game. From what we know last year, each of the 4 Bat Children each have their own stuff that they can do. You pick a character to go on the mission. There's co-op, or there's 2 people can do a mission or whatever. But at the same time, it's still open world. Like, you just go to where you start a mission, I think.
Yeah, I remember the original trailer from last year, and I feel like it was much more open world. You get to go to places like the Spider-Man game was. But then this made it feel like it's like a dungeon crawler or something.
Or at least at some point you go underground and it's now just like infiltration. Because they literally show in-game footage of like Robin standing in what looks like the Court of the Owls is like operation room. That's clearly endgame something, right? But like it was a very just neat tone. Like I liked it a whole bunch. Yeah. And to hear Scott Snyder, not Zack Snyder, Scott Snyder, completely different person who wrote, I think he still writes the Batman comics. Talking about like, I created Court of Owls, and it's really cool. They're expanding this way more than the initial thing. I liked that. I think you read that too. You read Court of Owls.
I read
I think
Court
it's
of
dope
Owls,
that just the idea that like
I gotta read it again because I kind of don't remember like everything.
It kind of gets weird when it's like, you have Bruce Wayne has a brother that he didn't know about. It gets a little weird towards the end, but I just like the beginning of like that comic, that first book, because I've read it like 4 times, that first one, because every now and then I think about restarting it and I never do, like get too far into it. It's all about how he, like, it's Bruce Wayne just monologuing about all his favorite spots in the city and how he knows it so well. And then it kind of ends with, like, something's off. There's something I don't know about. And then it goes on, like, there's a 13th floor that has owl, like, all this stuff in it, and is, like, slowly realizing that there's been these people in charge of this city forever, and he never knew. Batman, of all people. I think it's such a cool idea. But this is different because, like, Batman's dead, and it's, you know, Batwoman or Batgirl, Tim Drake, Robin, Nightwing, whoever the current Robin is, because Tim Drake is Red Hood, who's a bad guy that kills people, type stuff. I don't know.
No, yeah, it looks cool. I don't remember what I said last year in terms of whether or not I'm like interested in playing this. After seeing this trailer and knowing that's more about the Court of Owls and whatnot, I think
I'm interested.
Especially if it has co-op. Me and you can play that shit.
Right, and it's not like a Destiny thing. It's just you just play the game. It's not, you're not logging in.
I'm so glad that like we're getting that more of that shit back. I don't need to be. I don't have time to grind, bro. Like
remember when everyone thought that the Guardians of the Galaxy game was going to be like a Destiny or like the Marvel's Avengers, and like, nope, it's just you just play as the one man. It's like a Final Fantasy 15 type of game. It's all you do. Like, good.
But yeah, I'm curious. I mean, like, to see like once we get to more gameplay. I mean, they showed a little bit in it, but like I want to see like them just go through a level.
They showed too much, in my opinion, last year. I think
they did show gameplay.
They showed a lot, and I think they realized, hey, the type of people watching this want to see more behind the scenes stuff. Let's not show any gameplay. Let's show a really fucking cool trailer. That's like my thinking is like, because we talked again earlier.
I did forget that there was gameplay and it looked.
There was a lot. It was like an explanation about.
That's why I don't remember it because it's just so much.
It was boring, but which probably maybe that's also what they realized. But game's also next year. I think it's early. But then a lot of stuff's early next year.
2022. I think it said.
Okay, so is the Suicide Squad game. It would think that Warner Brothers would want to like separate those by a year, whatever. How embarrassing would it be for Rocksteady that like Warner Brothers Montreal, the studio that made a Batman Arkham game that Rocksteady wants to ignore, sells more copies of their game than Rocksteady does? It's gotta be so weird,
like an awkward like.
But I mean, like right now, which would you buy, Gotham Knights or Suicide Squad? Exactly, right. And I'm not even talking about like the obvious Batman love. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, we know what the game is like, and it looks more interesting. Next up, Batwoman, which apparently is still going on, has a season 3, and it looks really bad. It looks really bad. Really, really bad. And there's a new Batwoman, which I didn't realize, because again, I didn't realize they were still making it. A recent article I read popped up. I don't know if you had a chance of reading it, because I linked it to you. But I'll just paraphrase. Ruby Rose was the actor that played Batwoman, at least when I was hearing about it, like before it had come out. And it came out, and I thought it came and went. Apparently, it's still going on. She stopped after a season. Apparently, there's a new woman that plays Batwoman.
Gotcha.
And she was talking about how fucking awful and abusive the entire process was. How she sustained injuries. How she watched a person, like, melt. And like she was saying like someone was like lit on fire and you're watching this person's skin melt and they blame the fact that that person was looking at their phone and not paying attention. Like that, lots of that type of stuff. She broke a rib. She broke her rib. Ruby Rose broke her rib. And they were like guilting her into like going through the normal process of like, I don't know, whatever the doctor process of that is, because they wouldn't be able to be on schedule. If she did that. A lot of that type of stuff. She said all these people were like really bad and abusive, but I didn't quit. I did the full fucking season and that was it. So like she's talked about that like process and how like they wanted to meet because like it was filming right before like COVID shutdown stuff. It's like they really needed to hit that at the cost of like fucking like a lot of people sustained injuries on that show. So it's interesting. But yeah, and this new season looks really bad. So, yeah, that's that. I have zero interest in that show now.
I mean, I didn't even know how to respond to that, so I'm just like shaking my head.
Just Batwoman as a character, I think is interesting. It's not Batgirl. A lot of people that might not realize just think, oh, it's just Batgirl. It's a different person entirely. Doesn't even know Bruce Wayne, like, besides just we team up when we team up. It's not like Bruce Wayne trained her or anything like that. It's a completely different person. So it's an interesting story.
Does she also have money?
But I actually don't know. I don't think so. Next up, who wants money, is Catwoman. Catwoman Hunted is an anime film. And I'm very excited for this. I think it looks kind of funny. I like Batwoman's actually in this too. I like the kind of comedy-ish duo with the two of them. The director of this, I forgot his fucking name. He's worked on a lot of Lupin the Third films, and you can fucking tell that because he never was he was like he wasn't a director on any of them. He worked on a lot of the Lupin the Third stuff, and you can tell in this that, like, oh, he actually wanted to direct his own Lupin the Third. That's what this fucking is. It's a heist, like, thieving movie.
Who's Elizabeth Gillies, though?
She is, I think, showrunner, or not showrunner, but whatever it is.
So it mentions her in the thing.
Yeah, it does, because, like, I saw on Twitter somebody like, oh, it's one of the Lupin the Third guys making this film. And when I read the thing, I'm like, none of these names are Japanese. And I look on IMDb, and it listed him, and then I found his work. I'm like, yep, he did like 4 or 5 Lupin the Third films. So I'm actually excited for this. It's going to be straight to streaming and DVD and whatnot.
Superhero question real quick.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be the same answer as, like, why doesn't anyone really notice that Clark Kent is Superman? If you have red hair, or does she put on a wig? I don't know. But if you have red hair, like, that really, like,
stands out.
I'm saying, like, you're like, okay, there's, like, what, probably a couple thousand people who have, like, looks like dyed red hair in Gotham.
That's also true, because, like, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon has red hair, but it's natural. But what's her name? That's Batwoman, has, like, bright red hair. You're right. Yeah.
Just saying, like, if I was going to be
well, it's also kind of like, you know,
She-Hulk
is a giant green lady, and she's a lawyer. That's also a giant green lady. I don't think anyone, like, is like, I don't know who that is, but
I just like the idea, like, no one gives a shit. Like, probably. Everyone knows, but then the Batwoman, like, thinks that no one knows, but everyone just knows. It's just like, thanks. Like, we're just happy that you're fighting crime. Appreciate it.
At least, like, Bruce Wayne makes a deal about it. You can argue Bruce Wayne is the character and Batman is the real him. You know, he plays up the playboy, rich boy thing so that no one thinks that he's Batman. But, yeah. Next up is DC Legends of Tomorrow, which is showing it has 100 episodes. That's the show where it's like, really? This is still going on?
First time I'm hearing of it. This show.
It was an event, like, special, or like event mini series. It was like Arrow's happening. Now we started a Flash. Now we're going to start Supergirl. Let's make our own Avengers film type crossover thing with this one show, Legends of Tomorrow, where we team up. And I didn't realize that kept going. And it looks dumb. It looks real bad. It looks
dumb. They also showed, like, a second per thing, and I'm like, am I supposed to be, like, taking something away from this? Like, am I supposed to be like,
I think it's
is this
just
for
bragging.
The people who watched it, or is this for, like, to be like,
also,
wow,
those
look at all the crazy
seconds
adventure
were longer than 1 second each.
Maybe like 3, whatever. Still, they're like, here's a dude falling through a floor. That was episode 87.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Neat. Yeah. I don't care. Next up is the unfortunate news that we no longer compete with other video game podcasts and movie podcasts. We have to compete with Batman now. There's a Batman podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. It's exclusive to Spotify. It's all these giant media companies or celebrities are like, oh, podcasting, I can do that too, and maybe it will make me money, or maybe it's a new frontier, and then they, like, burn out because they realize, like, you really actually have to want to do this. To do this, it's not like just being signed on to do a TV show. Just
at least, like,
the whole thing looks like a dramatic
reading. It's
reading.
going to be like what HBO does. Like, HBO has been doing podcast miniseries for quite some time for, like, their shows. We'll have the director on or one of the writers on, and, like, after each episode comes out, they'll have them.
No, this is
talk
like
about
a
it. So this is
a serialized like podcast where it's a
Gotcha.
story. Like I don't know,
Oh.
but some people liked like the murder mystery ones. You know, I missed something too. I just wanted to point out in DC Legends of Tomorrow, this is the second live action DC show that they showed that briefly shows that the characters are turned into Muppets. So clearly,
I did see that.
everyone has this drinking the same Kool-Aid over there. Like, oh, what if our wacky things has them turn into Muppets for an episode? Let's do it again.
A cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. There's a Batgirl movie, an actual movie, because a lot of this stuff is like straight to HBO Max or, you know, series going there. The live action Batgirl movie has a piece of concept art. Neat. It looks kind of like an Arkham thing, and I guarantee they will not be able to capture like anything that they showed in that concept art for the movie, but I would love to be proven wrong. Love to be proven wrong. The Titans TV show is still a thing, and that was a really bad showing. Did you watch that?
Yeah, it was like the random clip from like it felt like in the middle of an episode
And
with
it
no
just
context.
ends?
I don't even know who these people are. Do you know who any of these people are?
One of them is Dick Grayson, because he's mentioned. That's how I know.
I don't even know who that is though.
But I don't know.
I'm like Titans. I'm like, was it Teen Titans, right? So like, is there
it's
gonna
Teen
be
Titans? Yeah,
like, where's Raven?
That's the one that that's
Like,
the one that
that's what
made
I'm looking for.
waves. That's the show that made waves when in their first trailer for it, Robin said, "Fuck Batman," and everyone's like, "Oh, this is a new tone." It's like, oh god, who gives a shit? I thought this was going to be played up for laughs, like they were trying to sneak in to steal like stuff out of his refrigerator or something goofy, like he's got candy in
Titans
there.
up to mischief again.
Right. Instead, it's like serious, and it just ends flatly, and I'm like, oh.
I was very confused about like when the
Weird.
dudes came in with the guns, they beat up the dudes with the guns, then like, I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but like then they just never showed it again. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Weird clip. Just a weird clip.
We're
to show.
obviously missing a whole bunch of context.
Yeah.
Next up is the Harley Quinn TV show is getting a third season. I think it actually looks pretty neat. I thought it was actually funny to some degree, which a lot of the stuff in the whole fandom was trying to be, and it wasn't, in my opinion, funny. This actually was kind of funny.
Just have nothing funny anymore. It's that easy. Like everything, just be serious, and we'll like roll our eyes at the seriousness. But at least I don't have to be like that wasn't funny. You know?
Yeah. Camp is different than trying to be funny and failing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a serious attempt with both of those things, but camp just comes off a lot better than that. You know, she comes on and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, theys and gays," you know? So, like, there's clearly, like, smart writers over there. Because I heard that show was actually pretty good, but I never saw it. Because, like, when HBO Max first came out, it didn't have a lot of the DC stuff in it. Like, they were still, like, going through, like, their contracts or whatever.
Gotcha.
So, just like that Lucifer thing is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because you all own a competitor. So that's a weird contract thing, I feel like. Or like, it's like, oh, because, you know, DC has a Vertigo, which is their like rated R comic book line thing. And they have, with Static Shock, I forgot what it was called, that kind of line. And they have a couple of them that I'm sure maybe aren't
Playboy.
100% owned by DC. So maybe it goes to Netflix. I don't know. The Young Justice TV show came back. I never realized Nolan North is Superboy. Nathan Drake himself voices Superboy. And that was a very boring trailer. That was very boring. People loved that show. The show was canceled and came back because of demanding it. Fans demand. And it just looks boring.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
a lot of marriage.
Yeah. You know, like 52%, right?
I
Like,
appreciate Beast Boys like drip.
52% of marriages end in divorce. So, like, you know.
Yeah, just very weird.
Odds are against you to make this work. We forgot to mention, it's just a picture, Batman Cape Crusader, which is a all new.
I did
animated
miss
series.
it. All I wrote down was J.J. Abrams came to ruin Batman. Jumped off
just
Star
saw
Wars
that.
to come ruin.
I mean, it says it's going to take place in the 1940s, which I'm intrigued about because I've been always interested in like. Watchmen did this a little bit where they had like, what would superheroes look like if they, you know, how would they work in a setting that is real shitty, like economic
Right.
depression, world wars happening. I mean, we saw it with like Wonder Woman and like Captain America, but
even just
but that's
the
in
old ass
war.
comics,
But that's in the war. But like I'm saying, like this is in
a current thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, like obviously
in
a lot
the
of
States or
a
whatnot.
lot of these,
it's not in a combat zone. It's just like
right.
dealing
Yeah.
with like the society issues at the time. So I'm
they had
intrigued at that in that way, I guess. I like the design of Batman in this. Looks pretty cool. I like
Yeah, it's a design I've seen before in some of the famous Batman covers. I don't remember which ones. Maybe Long Halloween. I don't know. J.J. Abrams did say it. Some quote I saw somewhere that it's more Batman the Animated Series than Batman the Animated Series. I'm like, as long as you can get Kevin Conroy to voice Batman, then I guess I'll watch it. But it's like supposed to be a completely like re-idealized like Batman and his rogues gallery of villains and starting from scratch and not following the same thing. But there's also Batman people attached to it, so it doesn't seem like J.J. Abrams gets to just ruin this like he did Star Wars. I saw someone say this too, like, he just hopped off that Disney train. Disney was like, forget about this movie, watch our upcoming TV show instead. And then now he just saddled up to Warner Brothers to ruin Batman. Who knows? It might be good.
I forgot to send you a picture, but I saw a Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker plane at the airport.
What?
Yeah, like the whole thing was like painted in black and then had stars painted on it, and then it had like Kylo Ren's lightsaber on like the end of the plane, and it had like a TIE fighter on it.
Did they like not get another advertising thing because they didn't want to wipe the plane clean?
I don't know, but I was like, damn.
Weird. Okay.
But I just saw it.
That
like,
movie's
I hope
not
they
even
keep
2
it. I want
years
them to
old.
keep it for like ever, just because it's like
Fucking
it's a
flight
time
over
capsule.
Disney World.
Yeah.
Next up, there's a show called Naomi. That's
I
cool.
saw what's her name? Ava DuVernay is working on it, and she makes some cool stuff.
Gotcha.
So I'm generally I don't know what this is though. Like I saw the trailer, I'm very confused of what this character is supposed to be. I mean, at the end of it, they showed like a picture and it shows her doing like lasers or something, but like geometrical lasers. So I'm like, does she have some sort of superpower? Is she intrigued by Superman? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what I'm getting from it, but I'm like, I know she does good work.
It's very weird.
I don't know. But it's on the CW, so I won't watch it.
Right, if it's not on HBO Max, yeah. Next up, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. We got a behind-the-scenes thing. It looked pretty neat. They kind of basically just revealed, like, the whole thing. Like, at least the setup and, like, with the locations that they're going to. But I like Zachary Levi. He's not a weird, creepy man, so I'm okay with him. He was good in Tangled. He was good in Chuck.
And he was good in Shazam.
Yep, and he was good in Shazam. Yeah, I'm excited for that because, like...
We liked the Shazam. It was a fun popcorn movie.
Yeah, it was fun. I like that it kind of ended with, like, all of his, like, foster family kids are all now like him. And they don't really show, like, how they handle that. So, like, that's what this movie's going to be doing a lot of for sure. I guarantee there's going to be a joke how they need to say his name to get their powers every time, because that was a funny movie. I think they did a good job. So yeah, I'm excited for this one too. But a lot of this stuff is like we're still filming. So, but yep. My notes actually end here because really all that's left after this is Batman, the Batman. Right? There's some Wonder Woman 80th anniversary stuff. An artist I follow on Twitter, Jen Bartel, has a big Amazonians like picture that was shown there of all the Wonder Women.
I think it was for Trial of the Amazons. Yeah, it looks good. She does great work. So
lots of shoe deals she gets.
Yeah,
lots of
some of them were pretty cool. I was like, if I had
there's
money.
like the Black Superman ones for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm like, huh. Now that's my shit. I don't have the money though. I'd rather buy like an Xbox than shoes. That's how I am. But yeah, now we have like the Batman. The reason why we're here. Really, the reason why a lot of people are here. I think the trailer was very good. I feel like I'm at the point now where, like, last year we got the first trailer, and I'm like, awesome. I think the suit looks awesome. I like the tone. He's great. This one now, we're getting a bit more. We're seeing that there's a Catwoman. I kind of like it, kind of don't. Just because we didn't really have a good Catwoman in any of the live-action Batman movies.
Yeah, so it's kind of like there's pressure.
It starts with it. It's not like it's the third Christopher Nolan one. Here's your Catwoman. It starts with it. I appreciate that. But at the same time, I also kind of just wanted to see just his Batman. But who knows? But I'm at the point now where don't show me anything else.
Yeah,
don't show me anything else.
Yeah,
he drives a muscle car. Don't show me anything else.
It's a very like. What the vibe I'm getting from this is almost like gothic, but almost noir too. Like both of those kind of at the same time, but not one over the other. Like there's not like they're not putting all their chips into one. They're like, we want to make this a gothic Batman. We want to make this a noir Batman, because I feel like all the Batman movies have a touch of noir to them, and I feel like they're doing a balance between the two, where they're like, we don't want to like go one end of the spectrum too much. And I kind of like this balance. But I will say I like the first trailer more.
Same.
Than the second one. I agree with the Catwoman where I'm like, it's gonna be hit or miss, and then so far it's missed. But hey, you were at 2 strikes. Third time's the charm. Sometimes you hit the homer in the third swing.
Exactly.
So,
and like this movie was supposed to come out like this year initially. Obviously, everything gets pushed, everything gets delayed. I'm excited for it. Again, I like the fact that he drives a fucking muscle car and it's got a jet engine on the back of it. It's not like some polygonal shards of metal, which can look cool, but like this just looks cooler. It just does. It just does. You know,
it definitely has just a different like setting than the other ones we've seen up until this point, and that's what I'm intrigued about, because I was worried that was just going to be like the Christopher Nolan Batman films where it had its own aesthetic and it was just going to be that. And there's moments where I see that, like maybe in some of like the Gotham City shots. But like when it's him wearing the makeup on his face and whatnot,
right?
Like it's such a gothic thing to do, you know. And I get the trying to fit, like they're like trying to make so it's more realistic. So when he's wearing the thing, it's not just his eyeballs.
That's what the Michael Keaton Batman did. You know what I mean? He had the makeup on overneath, and you could see some transitions where like it would show him, then it would cut to someone else, then it would go back to Michael Keaton, and the makeup's gone because he's taken the cowl off because they don't want to show him with makeup on.
Yeah, but I like that they're doing
here,
that. Sort of, it's more gritty.
Exactly.
It's
he actually looks miserable.
Yeah, looks like a piece of shit.
He looks like he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
he looks miserable. You know.
Yeah, I'm hoping by like in this movie we kind of get a Bruce Wayne where you're like, not cheering for him. You know,
like he needs some self-care. He's doing some self-harm by being Batman. Yeah, but
he's selfish. Yeah.
I like the suit quite a bit. And we
have the
Riddler's
Riddler,
in
right?
it. Yep, it's the Riddler, which is cool. Again, because the Matt Reeves original Batman film that was going to be written and directed by Ben Affleck was... Oh yeah, you didn't watch Justice League. He's teased at the end. Deathstroke talks to Lex Luthor at the end, the post credits for Justice League, and like, nope, it's gone. You know, it's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I really like that cover, the all red, like blood. Makes me think that it's going to be a little bit more violent. I think it's going to be a little bit more violent than the other Batmans we've seen. I don't think they're going to go. They're going to go like, you know, Logan levels of violence where people are like losing limbs and shit. But
that was also rated R. Is this rated R? I think this is PG-13.
I don't know if we know that yet, do we?
Maybe we don't.
Let's see if I can find that.
But I do hope that after this film, maybe it gets a sequel. Cool. I want them to like start to make another Batman series alongside this where they can do other things. Maybe be a little bit more lighthearted for. I don't want to say for kids, but like there's very much like a comic book Batman who knows all of those other superheroes and is able to be happy. And there's able to be light humor. You know, like there was a comic I read where it was, Batman and Superman, they know each other's real identities and they're going to some party or whatever for a job, and it's like a Halloween thing. So they swap costumes. That's the thing. and it's like, oh, it's kind of funny. You know what I mean? There's like, oh, there's some humor in that. We haven't had like a lighthearted Batman in any of the films since this decade or this century, right? Yeah. So that's like but I like this cool Batman. I like how serious and painful he may feel or whatever. But I also want them to do like, I'm not a happy Batman, but you know what I'm saying? Like one that's a lot lighter in tone. I want to see, because like we get a little bit of that in Batman v Superman with the Batman and the Superman Wonder Woman kind of like teaming up fighting stuff and how the different styles is and how like it isn't just Batman
I
being
think
depressed.
the Ben Affleck Batman is the closest you're going to get to that.
Probably
at this point, because especially with like, I just
serious
feel like
Batman makes the money.
Yeah. I actually was looking to see what the rating is, but I found this trivia about this movie, and I think it's hilarious. So Robert Pattinson's screen test before he was cast took place while he was in the first few days of shooting Tenet in Los Angeles in May 2019. Pattinson had to lie to Christopher Nolan about it, but Nolan, who is no stranger to the Cape Crusader, and Warner Brothers immediately figured it out. It's funny because "It's funny because Chris is so secretive about everything to do with his movies," Pattinson said. And then I had to be really secretive about Batman stuff. So I had to lie to Chris about having to go for a screen test. I said I had a family emergency, like kids stay in school. As soon as I said it's a family emergency, he says, "You're doing the Batman audition, aren't you?" Because I thought that was funny. That like,
damn,
he was so like he didn't want to, hurt Christopher Nolan's feelings. I'm like, that's funny. And I really like. I know we were both around the same train when they announced that he was gonna be Batman. Everyone was shitting on it because Twilight, and it's like, okay,
once you see it though, you're like, I get it.
Yeah, like he's also done other cool shit besides Twilight. Right. You can actually
no one pays attention to that.
Watch those movies. Like go watch
Hideo
The Lighthouse.
Kojima pointed out that after Twilight, he started to pay attention to this actor. Like, good for you.
Yeah,
Hideo Kojima.
But at least put him in a video. I mean, compared to like Daniel Radcliffe, if you think about it, like he did his.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
No, he's done stuff, and he's done some cool stuff, but he's not like mainstream.
Basically disappeared.
And like shot to pass and for getting out of that hole.
Yeah.
He's the fucking Batman, bro. Like, I mean, like,
yeah.
To me, like at this point, the Batman is maybe not the same level, but like you can compare it, I think, still to like being James Bond. Like it, like
for sure.
If you can be the Batman,
100%.
You're gonna take that role.
You could argue to a lot of people would argue that it's more so. You know.
Yeah.
I will just throw a little bone to Daniel Radcliffe, one of us short kings out there. I don't know if you realize the man's short. He's my height. So.
Is he really?
Yeah, I think Emma Watson's taller than him.
He was in this weird movie called Swiss Army Knife or Swiss Army Man, where he like plays a dead person who can like do weird things. He was perfect in that. He was also in this other movie called like Jungle, where he's just this dude surviving the jungle. In the Amazon rainforest. It was like based off a true story. I watched it and like I was like, damn, Daniel.
He was also in a movie called Guns Akimbo, where he had guns nailed to his hands and he couldn't put them down.
He plays all these like weird like dark humor shit.
Like,
good
for you.
Good for you.
Good for you. Good for you. Because
I want him to be back though, like in the mainstream. I think he.
Only time I ever see him in the mainstream is whenever people are like, oh, he spoke negatively about J.K. Rowling's comments on trans people. It's like, yeah, he's a G. He's not a douchebag.
Because the last, I think mainstream movie he was in after Harry Potter was like Woman in Black, that one horror movie, and he was all right in that.
Yes.
And then after that, he kind of like dipped out, whether it was taking a break or like he did just smaller movies, which is cool. Like if you want to do independent films, that's cool.
He was a child actor.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to be in the spotlight, which is fair. So.
He's just to quickly bring up the J.K. Rowling thing. I saw someone on Twitter posted this joke. It is their joke, not mine. Said, who called it Great Britain and not serfs and turfs?
Damn.
That's it. Yes. That's the DC Fandome year 2. Do we think they're going to do another one? Probably.
Yeah, I think these are working. I like them.
I appreciate them. Again,
they help us fill an episode.
It's cool. Yes. we literally just talked about what they announced and we filled an hour. So thanks, DC Fandome. Your 4 hour became our 1. But yeah, if we have nothing else to point out, I guess I'll outro the show here. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show. I, Ethan, am on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely, and Devin is on Twitter at CURSONA YouTube.
At the Batman.
Let us know who Black Adam's deal is. How many seasons of the DC shows are in total? Do you watch any of them? Are they cool? If you like them, let us know. I'm actually interested to see if people that like them and have reasons to like them besides I just like the source material. Like, is there something cool you like about it, right? And let me know why you think Jared Leto is a bad Joker and a bad person just because he's weird, and why Tom Cruise is a god.
That's
See
toxic.
See you next week.
See you next week, Batman.